Hello, everyone. You may have heard about this in the news. You cannot use marijuana, even if the state that you live in allows it. As a green card holder, it's a big problem right now because it might impede you to become a U.S. citizen. So today we are going to talk about what that means and how it might affect your chance to become a U.S. citizen. I'm Raluca Hanea. I provide immigration, estate planning, and family law services to my law clients in Lawrenceville, Georgia. And here with me is Nina Clear, my marketing and office manager. We really appreciate all your likes, shares, and comments as they help others to see our videos.
Okay, so let's break this down for everyone. When you apply to become a citizen, you must prove that you have good moral character, right?
That's right.
Okay. And how does somebody go about doing that?
Well, first, there are specific things that you have to have not done to have a good moral character. They include things like you were never a polygamist, you never committed a murder, you were never arrested for a crime, even if you weren't convicted.
And now with this new marijuana policy, they will be asking if that is something you have done.
Hi, Roxy. We have someone watching
Nice.
us. Yes, they will be asking, and we should probably clarify that this isn't really a new policy as much as a policy that hasn't been enforced as strictly as it is now.
And what do you mean by that?
Well, marijuana has always been considered a controlled substance under the federal law. Violating federal law, whether you were arrested or convicted or not, has always been a reason to deny a citizenship application. However, in the past, as far as we know, if people used marijuana or worked in the cannabis industry, they were not denied citizenship. However, this is now happening. So USCIS sent out a policy memorandum clarifying that being involved in the marijuana industry, even if legal in the state the immigrant resides, it is grounds for denial due to them not meeting the good moral character standard and requirement.
And it might be helpful for people if you define what good moral character is.
Well, there isn't a clear definition. I will tell you that USCIS defines as good moral character the character which measures up to the standards of average citizens of the community in which the applicant resides.
And tell me why that isn't clear.
Well, most people who work in the immigration field have said it is subjective.
What does that mean, subjective?
Subjecting means to be based on personal feelings or opinions. This current presidential administration has said they want to limit immigration. And we know from recent studies that 65% of people in the United States think that marijuana should be legalized. Plus, 33 states have legalized medical marijuana use, and 10 have legalized recreational use. So USCIS putting a policy in place that says even if a state has made marijuana use legal, you will be punished for use or distribution seems to be another way for this administration to implement their push toward limiting immigration.
Because if it was truly based on the average is 50%. Mm-hmm. If it was based on the average standards of a community, and we know that 65% of the population, including 56% of Republicans, and over half of the states support marijuana legalization, then this policy does seem to contradict what the average citizen wants, right?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell us exactly what this policy says?
One thing I want to mention first is that while marijuana is what everyone is talking about, this actually applies to any controlled substances. So that includes things like prescription medication as well as marijuana.
So they would need to look at the controlled substance standards of the federal government law to know if something they used fell under it.
Fell under it, yes.
Okay.
That's
so
correct.
take us through this step by step, basically.
Okay, so people need to know that USCIS looks at the statutory period for citizenship.
And what is that?
That could be different for everyone. For most people, it is from the time they have become a green card holder until they have their oath for citizenship. So all this time, they have to have good moral character.
And so even if they were approved to become a citizen, but they haven't yet taken the oath, they could still be denied if they're arrested or use a controlled substance under the USCIS policy.
That's right. And conduct outside the statutory time may also be considered in specific circumstances.
That sounds really confusing to me.
It can be. That is why it is good to consult with an immigration attorney. As we talked about it in one of our other videos, most people think USCIS can only look back for 5 years for crimes, but your conduct during that time may open you up to having your entire history reviewed. If you have any questions about specific circumstances, please consult with an attorney so you know any obstacles that you might be facing during the process.
Okay, so does USCIS only look at your criminal record for the good moral character determination?
No, their policy requires them to look at 3 things. 1, the applicant's criminal record during the applicable time period. 2, their answers on their application. And 3, their answers during the interview.
And is there anything on the current application that asks about controlled substances?
Yes, right now it asks about if you have ever sold or smuggled controlled substances, illegal drugs, or narcotics. But if you look at the N400 forms on the USCIS website, it says that a new form is coming soon. But as of today, May 1st, 2019, the version they have you using is dated December 23rd, 2016.
So you do need to answer that question if you've been involved in controlled substances, which marijuana is under this federal law right now.
And probably they will extend that question in the next form.
And they may expand it to more, right?
Yes.
And the big issue is that even if a state has legalized marijuana, so we know 33 states have for medical and 10 have for recreational, and you live in that state, so you're using it or selling it legally, you still may be denied citizenship.
Yes, and this isn't just for users of marijuana, but also those who work in a dispensary or in the industry.
In fact, this is why it kind of came up, like this is another thing that came up in the news. There was people who were coming from other countries like Canada and going to Vegas. There was a cannabis convention. So they weren't using it, anything like that, but they were denied entry into the United States, right?
Yes, that's true.
Okay, so this is a good reminder for all of us that the immigration laws and the policies that USCIS follows are based on federal law.
Federal law, right. As USCIS said in their policy update, federal law classifies marijuana as a Schedule I controlled substance whose manufacture, which includes production such as planting, cultivating, growing, or harvesting, distribution, dispensing, or possession may lead to immigration consequences.
Okay, do you think states or anyone else is going to fight against this?
They may. I know the Denver mayor has already come out and spoken in opposition to this new policy, as well as sent a letter to USCIS requesting a change in the policy. Medical marijuana has been legal in Colorado since 2000 and recreational since 2014. And a few green card holders who work legally in the industry were denied citizenship because of their jobs.
And then those same people who were denied citizenship were also warned, don't travel internationally, right?
That's right. Since USCIS considers that they are breaking federal law, they may not be allowed back in the United States if they do leave. As far as we are aware, there are no deportation proceedings against them, but that could be the next step. But most immigration attorneys would probably recommend that they not travel internationally.
And one thing I found when I was looking at this is that the Congress actually passed a law in 2016, I think it was, that the Justice Department cannot use any funds to go against people using marijuana. And so that might be why they're not going for deporting them right now, but you know, that might change. So,
sure.
Okay, so if someone is denied citizenship or their application is denied, can they appeal that?
Usually, yes, but you have to look at your denial letter and it will let you know.
Okay, and could they wait to see if a new president is elected and then the policy changes again?
Usually, you only have a limited time to appeal after a denial, so you need to check on that.
And what about applying again? Are you able to do that?
Yes, one of the individuals in Denver was told to apply again in 5 years, but keep in mind that anything that happened is now part of your permanent file. So there would probably need to be a change in the federal law or the policy before you would be approved.
Okay. And I know different immigration groups have been issuing warnings specific to this topic. Are there any tips you would give?
Yes, don't use marijuana and don't work in the marijuana industry.
What about if you have a medical prescription from a doctor?
I would talk to a legal counsel before filling that.
Anything else?
Don't carry marijuana with you. Don't wear shirts about it. Don't take pictures of yourself around it, and especially don't post them on social media. Don't talk to border or ICE officials about it.
So you can refuse to answer the border patrol questions or the ICE official questions?
You can ask for legal counsel, and you will need to pay for your own unless it is a criminal case and you qualify for a public defender. But you do not need to answer questions without an attorney present.
And just so people know, you cannot even grow marijuana for your own use, right?
That's right. The Supreme Court said that it is illegal under federal law.
So even if you're not selling it to anybody else, don't grow it. Don't be around it. And as a reminder, so they are asking questions about this during interviews, citizenship interviews, especially in the states where it's legal, they're asking questions.
They might, and they did already.
Yes.
Yes.
And so do not lie, right?
Absolutely not. It is better to refuse to answer and get an attorney. If you lie, you may make yourself permanently inadmissible to the United States. And we know that there has been a 37% increase of denials of the applications for citizenship since President Trump took office. So we urge everyone to protect themselves by following the tips we give, as well as hiring a qualified immigration attorney if you think you may have to answer for legal use or a controlled substance. Thank you again for watching. We really appreciate your likes and comments. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us, as we are always here to help. See you soon.